What's up, everybody? This is your host, JP. With this episode, due to it being our first time having a guest, we did have some audio technical issues. We did clean it up to the best of our ability. Did the best cleaning that we could. We hit it with the flash mode on, and we were zooming around trying to fix it up. But this is the best that we got. So I hope you guys can bear with us, and we'll just do better on the next one. But be sure to tune in to both episodes, and we love y'all. Enjoy this episode. What's up, everybody? I'm your host, JP. This is my co-host, Josh.
Hey, everybody.
And this is another episode of the FilmBros podcast. All right, y'all. So we got a special episode for you guys today. Not only are we going to be reviewing a movie and a whole franchise, but we also have a guest today. And our special guest today is Raymond. He's going to be here today to discuss with us this franchise. I don't want to give away too much, but you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for having me here. I'm Josh, JP. I'm excited. I mean, I love cars. I love action. This is the best.
Hey,
Oh, yeah.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
So,
That's all this franchise needs.
It's for me, probably.
so if you guys haven't gotten the little hints right there, we will be reviewing Fast X today.
I know that this road has been very hard. And yet here you are, building this magnificent family.
What's going on in that head of yours?
Something little B said it. He said, Dad, you're not afraid of anything. But I am. I'm afraid of losing someone I love.
Dominic Toretto, you're about to learn all about fear. Oh! You built such a beautiful life, filled with love and family.
I never got that chance.
You stole that from me. My future. My family.
And now,
I'm gonna break yours. Piece by piece.
And on top of that, we will be giving you guys our ranking, what we believe, where these movies go, where Fast X belongs amongst the rest of the sea of fast cars, I guess you could say. With that, I guess we could just start diving right in. So I wanted to, everybody has a different story. Some people, by the way, guys, before we get started, this will be a spoiler review. We will be spoiling the whole franchise, the whole Fast franchise. We're going to be talking in-depth theories, speculation. If the movies are good for us, who knows? If they're bad, who knows? Why they're good, why they're bad? We're going to discuss it all here. So a lot of spoilers. If you guys haven't seen the franchise, what are you doing with yourself? Go watch the franchise and then come back.
Yeah.
I've been awake since yesterday watching everything, so I'm ready for this conversation. Are you guys ready? Both of you guys?
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So Ray, let's start with you first. Everybody has had an introduction to this franchise, okay? Some people started from the very beginning. Some people picked it up along the way. Somebody probably got put on from Fast 9. Who knows? What was the first movie in the franchise that got you basically hooked?
From the beginning, right away. 2001, everybody in school is talking about it. 9 years old, everybody's talking about it in school. Yeah, I was like, you know what? I'm going to tell my parents, let me have $5. Let me go rent that VHS right now.
Oh, the VHS.
So the VHS, that's how old I am.
We brought out the VHS. Josh, what about you? What was the movie that put you on?
Damn. Okay, well, I'm the youngest in the room, so it was the first one for sure. I was shown that one, and ever since then, the franchise has just been one of my favorites. Very, very up there with my top set, like 10 franchises, if I'm being for real.
Yeah, the Fast franchise.
Yeah.
Of course, 100%. For me, at least, I knew about the first one. I never watched it. actively ignored it. I was just a kid at the time, so I wasn't really worried about it. But I think the one that put me on was Too Fast, Too Furious. I really liked the cars in that one. Ludacris was good. I wanted to watch that movie because Ludacris was in it. Funny thing was because, like, I knew him as a rapper.
Yeah,
exactly.
I got a midget on my necklace or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yeah, this franchise, this one is for me. And then I wound up watching the first one and thought it was 10 times better than the second one. But, you know, you can't win them all, I guess. So it is what it is. So with that, I think it's only fair to kind of recap basically how we got to 10 movies, right? So we started off with the first one, which was The Fast and the Furious, 2001, like Raymond said. That one had a 55% Rotten Tomato score, okay? Met right in the middle with audiences, I guess critics as well. This one was the humble beginnings, right? Race cars, cops, robbers, and
Exactly.
just good old racing fun. A lot of the people like to say, hey, why don't we take it back to just racing? I mean, I never seen these movies as just racing. I think I'm fair to say that, right? You know,
oh no, to me they've always been heist movies.
heist, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think because he started watching them when the heist started, everybody was about cars, you know.
Yeah.
Fast cars, racing, street racing, like, oh, shoot, like, this is cool stuff, man. And so seeing it slowly disappear from racing to heist, and then secret agent.
Okay,
yeah,
so you think that there's an evolution there?
Yeah, there's an evolution
you think
for sure.
that things have changed. Okay, all right. Well, let's finish up the work.
Yeah. Sorry.
We'll dive into that. But I see where you're coming from. So then we move on to Too Fast, Too Furious, which got a lower rating than that. Got a 37% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Damn.
Wasn't received as well as the first one. I guess everybody could kind of guess. Excuse me. That one was we lost Vin Diesel. We had newcomers in. We had Tyrese come in. Like I said, Ludacris was there. Eva Mendes, basically replacing the spots of the original cast that couldn't be around for the second one. Like I said, wasn't well received by everybody, but hey, can't win them all. Like I said, then the third installment, but later on to be recognized as the later installment is Tokyo Drift. Okay, that one got a 38% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Uber bad apparently to everybody. So,
man.
that's probably going to be a topic in itself later.
Oh yeah.
This one, you know, we said Paul Walker, Vin Diesel. Who's that? Took it overseas to Tokyo, Japan. Got new actors. Got a new plot. Different way to use cars, because apparently drifting wasn't invented before that. And then, little fun fact, I noticed that a lot of people started drifting after that movie, so it's hilarious. But moving on though, we got to 2009. Okay, from Fast 3, that was back at 2006. We had a 3-year hiatus, but then we finally came back to the roots and got Fast and Furious. In 2009, Vin Diesel came back. Paul Walker was back. Michelle Rodriguez, the whole family was back. We got a glimpse of Han. This one wound up kicking off at 29% rotten.
Yeah.
Apparently, and not a lot of people like this movie either. That's a discussion in itself, and I will defend it to my dying day. But moving on with this one, like I said, back to the roots. People came back. It was another heist movie. Wound up seeing Vin Diesel finally got his comeuppance by the end of the movie, I guess you could say, and that leads us to our next one, which was Fast 5, back in 2011, and this is when Dwayne Johnson, Paul Walker, Vin Diesel, Jordana Brewster, everybody was there. Okay, 78% on the Rotten Tomato score. It was very positive, very well received. A lot of people like to say it's because of The Rock, but you know that'll be a discussion later on as well. I'm adding little tidbits in there. Basically, with this one, this is the one that kind of upped the ante. Right, we seen our heroes become these runaway thugs who, you know, beat on people, shot people. You know, you didn't really see that in the other ones, and you know they just were like, hey, we're spraying everybody. Wound up merely escaping, and then we move on to Fast and Furious 6, which was released in 2013. Saw the whole crew coming back. A few newcomers. This one, this is where they started evolving to like, I believe, spies, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Exactly right there. Yeah.
This is where they,
and
according to Raymond, this is where it begins to happen, right, with this shit. They, we get a look at Owen Shaw, who was, I forgot who he was, by Bloom, I believe he was played by, and basically get a little taste of that CIA life, all that good stuff, and then we wound up moving to Furious 7, and if everybody knows this one, everybody knows the story. This one came out in 2015. Paul Walker was set to reprise his role, wound up having an unfortunate accident that led to his untimely death. They wound up finishing the movie by CGIing on his brother, I believe.
Yeah, that was his brother. Yeah.
This one was really well received. It got an 81% on the Rotten Tomato score. We saw them jumping cars through Dubai, jumping through building. Saw what I thought was earthbending for the first time in a Furious movie. This is where, they kind of started upping it a little bit, in my opinion, the ridiculous level a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then we moved on to The Fate of the Furious, which came out in 2017. Got a 67% on the Rotten Tomato score.
A little bit better.
a little bit lower, but better at the same time. This one we saw an old villain that was hiding in the shadows of the old movies come up and basically terrorize the gang and made Dom flip on his crew, and the rest is history. They wound up, I believe this is the one where he had his child, his baby. He wound up calling it Brian by the end of the movie. Everybody had a nice family dinner, and then the feud happens with F9, right? And we're skipping Hobbs and Shaw. That movie is not going to be,
doesn't exist.
It's not going to be in
Hobbs and Shaw.
We move on to Fast 9. So, absent in this movie, Dwayne Johnson. Replaced by him, John Cena.
Yeah.
But we got the whole crew back for this one. Got some good cameos. Actually, we've had a lot of good cameos within this franchise. If you guys noticed, I don't know if you guys noticed the little, like in the later movies too, like what kind of like pop stars and everything that were kind of showing up.
I know some.
Yeah, they gotta keep on getting people's attention.
Yeah,
they gotta bring in someone new once.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's like that.
He's digging hard into these movies. Hey man, slow down, Tiger. Just give it a second. We'll get there.
It's a lifestyle, man.
It's a lifestyle, he says. So that one wound up coming out in 2021. 59% rotten score. Okay. People didn't seem to dig this installment so much. So we saw John Cena come in, wound up finding out that he is Dom's long lost brother in this one. A lot of boom pows in this movie.
Yeah.
And then eventually end up at the tail end where everybody's family yet again. And then that leads us to Fast X 2023. Came out about a month ago, I think now. Doing great in the box office. Okay. Don't think it's doing bad. I think its opening weekend made like close to 400 million. The second weekend hold was pretty solid at like a 55%, I believe. So not doing too bad. Yeah. I was seeing a lot of people online saying like, who watches these movies? And it's us.
Yeah. It's us.
As ludicrous as these movies can be, I mean, we can't deny they are entertainment, right?
Yes.
It was their time. So I ran down all the movies, guys. Okay. We already know which ones got you guys into this franchise and, what the ridiculousness that comes along with this franchise, right? We're not going to lie. We're not going to deny it, right? Nope. It gets a little ridiculous. From all these movies, all the actors that's come through, is there one that kind of stuck out to you guys like this one doesn't fit with the franchise? Like this is not the movie that I thought the franchise was going to produce ever.
Ray can go first.
I mean, Tokyo Drift took everything to a whole new country, even, and just plugged in Dom at the end to connect it to the main movies. But I think it has to be the fourth one.
The fourth one? Okay,
Yeah.
we're on the same boat. I
Yeah.
was thinking that one
The
too.
fourth one.
Okay.
Yeah. My reasoning for that though is because for some reason for me, even watching it, recently, it feels like it's a reintroduction to the characters that we know. You know what I mean? Like I know we'll go down the line more, but the first one happens, and then we don't see any of the crew in the second one, and then Tokyo Drift happens, and like you said, it plugs in Dom at the end, but we haven't seen Brian as an audience, in like a movie or so, depending.
Brian was only not in one. Vin wasn't in two.
Well, yeah. See, so we haven't seen the people we know since for a while, basically. So they're like, well, we have to reintroduce them. For those that know, Brian has his slate clean. He's a cop again in this one. And, I feel like it's just a reintroduction that it was kind of necessary to kind of reboot the franchise a little bit.
So necessary but unnecessary.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I personally, I would say 8 or not 8, 9 is the one that is kind of like the oddball for me, even though it was directed by the same director that did basically 5 through 6 or 4 through 6, I believe, and he did 3. 9 just felt out of place for me, and it just felt like it was, I don't know, just I think that it was because of it was the birth for me of, I think we were talking about it earlier, Ray, but like Raven, sorry, that it's kind of like it upped that weirdness ante where like it just felt like nothing really mattered at that point. And it, for me at least, it kind of bleeds into what we're going to talk about right now with Fast X. So Fast X, let's hear your guys' quick thoughts, right? And this is spoiler territory for Fast X, so if you guys have been listening after we told you guys not to listen because we were going to spoil, we're not holding hands no more. All right, this is the part of no return. Spoilers are here. So quick rundown. What was your initial thoughts when you were finished watching Fast X, Ray? Raymond.
To me, I loved it. I loved it, but had a lot of crazy stuff in there. Dom is turning into a superhero. Each movie he has a new power, but I loved it. It's just like the scene with the dam. He's driving down the dam.
Yeah.
Where else? Oh, where he has his son fly from one car to another.
Let's see that we shook.
I don't know if you noticed in a lot of the movies they have someone jumping from one car to another.
Yeah, usually.
Is that like a signature thing now?
I'm
I
assuming
imagine it is.
I'm assuming that's just like to add suspense. Like, oh, they gotta hop cars. Like that's all that we can do.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh man.
Right away with the first couple minutes. What was that?
Oh.
Yeah. I told you, but like with Fast X, I was like, man, the first like 10 minutes, 8 minutes, whatever it was just like Fast 5. So I was like, I kind of felt cheated a little bit.
No, man, no. It's a completely different movie. I told you. Hobbs doesn't exist in this one.
I was gonna say because the inconsistencies there. I watched Fast 5, and he was in the building when they were supposed to like walk out in the little hole right there, and I was just like, man.
Okay.
What Hobbs?
My initial thoughts were, I liked it too. You know what I mean? I think as much as people shit on these movies or try to shit on these movies, it's genuinely a good time. Like, sure, you get a lot of what the fuck moments, but at the end, I feel like you come out satisfied, and that's how I felt. I felt very satisfied.
With this one, I felt the same way that I felt with basically F9, and I was like, it's getting too silly.
I know. I think F9 left a bad taste in my mouth.
Oh yeah.
This one felt more intense.
And I felt like this one kind of like doubled down on it, in my opinion. When I walked out, I was kind of like, they doubled down on the silliness, they doubled down on the self-awareness, they doubled down on like, I think they did scale back on like spectacle, because there were, I mean, how higher can you get than space, I guess you could say. But then they were just like, okay, well, I feel like the ridiculousness dropped down to maybe like Fast 8 levels, like right there, because I feel like it escalated from 6 to 7, 7 to 8, 8 to 9. Like it just kept escalating the levels of silliness. And I feel like that, at least with spectacle wise, it kind of reverted back to at least Fast 8,
I think I get you. I don't know. It was just, for this one, it just felt very enjoyable. I feel like everyone kind of did their part, even, I know we'll deep dive into it, but I feel like everyone kind of did their own thing. And then there was a lot of silly moments. I'm not gonna lie. Like seeing Dom's kid Brian leap into the other car. I'm like, there's no way he would have cleared that distance. Like he would have hit ground way before that. You know what I mean? But it's still enjoyable. I honestly, I think way better than F9.
You know, after the ninth movie, they went to space, and I was thinking, what's like you said, it kept on ramping up, and like then the next movie is gonna be stupid. Like I don't even know if I want to watch it. And maybe it might even like turn into a 1970 Dodge Charger that travels through time.
Yeah. We're gonna see the DeLorean for the first time.
Oh, they
DeLorean.
they plugged it. They plugged it in right there real quick.
I was about to say we did see the DeLorean in that. I for a second there had me shook for a little bit. I was like, bro, don't tell me fucking time travel's about to happen.
The doc is coming out.
It's Dom going back in time, saving Han and all them.
You're gonna see the old dude from Back to the Future. Oh my god, guys, we gotta go back in time to stop. I don't know, Dom's dad.
Well, they don't really time travel. They've just been bringing people back for like suddenly
Filling in the gaps, basically.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is like I said, we're just talking about it too. But like in the F9, where they were like, "Oh, this is young Dom," but in 10 years or 11 years, he's gonna turn into Vin Diesel. You know, convince the Vin Diesel real quick.
Oh yeah.
Up in the ante, but kind of. So you guys think it was a little bit more enjoyable than Fast 9?
Oh, for
yeah.
I could see that, at least spectacle wise. I think everything else kind of fit the same bill, if that makes sense. I think one thing too that really hurt the movie for me was the whole not being able to feel for these characters, and I feel like that was a consequence of what happened with Fast 9. Throughout the whole movie, I think, and I didn't really catch myself doing this with the earlier installments, but like I think with F9 and with Fast X, it really, like, I started laughing at the movie. Like there were some stunts and stuff and some things that happened that it was so ridiculous, I just laughed at it. There was a couple times where I was like, what, like, you know what I mean? Why would they do that? I think the beginning where the ball's coming down and he hit the fucking crane and stopped the thing, and then, you know, it was so ridiculous. Like it just made me laugh. I was like, okay, like that. You know, with this series, I just started saying, like, you know, that might as well happen at this point. But just, I think with this one, when I was in there, I just really did not feel for these characters at all whatsoever.
You got anything for that before I?
Yeah, that's what that part with the bomb rolling down. They were just playing pinball at that point, and then the fact that he hit the crane, swing around to hit the pinball a different way.
Pinball, just playing pinball in Rome.
Yeah, he's being like super reckless. I think because he knows he's the main character, he can't die.
Yeah, basically.
He's like, I'm just gonna jump off this bridge, hit that crane.
Might as well just put my full car on this bomb that could explode at any point. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, when the bomb blows up, everybody's cars flies. His flies for a little bit and just keeps on going.
Yeah, that was one thing that took me out too. I was like. And then they even said too, they were like, oh, it missed the Vatican, but it killed nobody in the blast. It's like, are you telling me that whole street was just empty? Like, you know what I mean? Like, shouldn't somebody have died? At least one of the people should have died. You know what I mean? But you got anything?
I think, well, yeah, I was telling you this, like, I think as we were living in the theater, I was like, because I'm pretty sure they're going to, regardless if this one flops or whatever, they're still gonna pump out the last one. You know what I mean?
The part 2, yeah.
Yeah. But like I feel like they killed off the ones that kind of filled in space. So in part 2, every key player can be there from before. You know what I mean? So John Cena's character, with him going, you know, like he was a waste of space. He was basically taking up the Rock space, like we said earlier. So he had to go, and then, you know, like I told you, I didn't really care for that dude from Rio. The one that they killed off. I didn't really care for what's her name's sister, you know, and then Mrs. Nobody, didn't really care for her. Mr. Nobody's kid, we don't even know where he went. He just got obliterated the one time, and we haven't seen him since. And then heavy spoiler, but you know, by the end when we see Han, Tyrese Gibson's character and Ludacris's character kind of fall toward the fucking mountain, like
the whole gang just said,
yeah, they're heading down, you know, and like I'm sure they lived, but I'm pretty sure it was suspenseful to be like, damn, you know, they're probably not gonna make it. But I'm sure every key player is gonna be in part 2. that's why every other death felt meaningless.
I kind of feel like I'm jumping the gun here, but like, what a way to end the movie, though. Like, for me, I was just like sitting there, like, that's where we're gonna cut it off. This is where we're gonna say, hey, wait for part two. It kind of reminded me, and I'm not knocking it like in a bad way. I think it was actually funny, but it was innovative at the same time, because it was kind of like, it felt like an old school TV show cliffhanger. If that makes sense. It didn't feel like a movie cliffhanger, because usually in movies, when they know part two's coming, they kind of tie the knots from the first movie and kind of move on to the next one. This one, it felt like there was a lot of loose ends to wait to see for the next.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I watched it twice. So like, after the scene on the bridge, and he's like, "Oh, I'll catch you later, Dom," and then he flies away, and then they get nobody to the hospital and stuff. I thought they were gonna end it there, but they're like, "Nah, we gotta end off on a big action piece." But like, I know what you're saying, because that piece on the bridge after everything's said and done, I thought that was gonna be like to be continued, but no, they kept it going for like another 35 minutes.
Yeah, I thought when he was gonna go down and it was gonna make the jump or whatever, it wasn't gonna go like to be continued, and then you seen them about to get obliterated by the dam. So I was like, damn, never mind.
Yeah, it seemed just after that bridge, like they were gonna stop somewhere. Like, oh, don't tell me it's gonna be right here. I'm like, oh, don't tell me. And then it gave you those sequences one after another. Like, they get trapped. They find out, like, oh, he's being betrayed. Oh, I got 2 remote control trucks right here blocking you in. Oh, you just saw your friends die. Like, I was like, oh, this might actually go on, because I didn't see how long the movie was. So I was like, is this movie like 3 hours long?
Yeah.
But it just stopped right there, right after they got out of the water.
Yeah. That. But were you good with it though? Were you good with that cliffhanger? Were you like, this is a good spot to have it end on, kind of thing?
Yeah, because it just makes you wonder. He is a superhero, but how's he going to survive the rubble and millions of gallons of water?
I'm hoping Jason Momoa just says, "Psych, I'm Aquaman," and just
saves them.
Saves everybody.
Oh no, it's his evil twin. Aquaman's.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's right.
So, I mean, character-wise, I mean, we could talk about the new additions. We had Brie Larson, right? We had who else was there? We had Pete Davidson for a second. If you guys really want to mention his cameo. What other newcomers came out of this one?
Obviously, Jason Momoa.
Jason Momoa, yes. Alan Rickman too.
Oh yeah.
Oh man,
He did really good.
I'm just gonna say that I love that dude as an actor. I just think he's too bulked, in my opinion. I think he's too yoked for the movie, because like, you can tell, like, he was punching people and everything, but he was like, it wasn't like, how The Rock, he's yoked, but like his movements, because he's a wrestler, he's able to like move a lot more, I guess, seamless when he's like throwing people and stuff.
Yeah.
Alan Rickman, he's just so yoked. He's just like,
he's stiff.
Yeah, stiff. Yeah. And I'm just like, man, he just needs to kind of let go a little bit. But I really loved him in this role. Like, I was really excited to see in this movie.
I think him and Momoa stole the show for me. I'm just like, man, fucking
Great Mo was good for you.
I fucking loved him as a supervillain.
What about the characters for you?
It was good, but do you think he's an OP, like overpowered?
Who?
Momoa's character.
Momoa's character?
Yeah, because he knew everything, knew everyone, controlled everything and everyone.
That for me, that's a plot issue. But I think character wise, I don't see him as bad character wise. But plot issue, yeah, I think that was kind of ridiculous. I thought it was dumb how he was just able to take over. What's her name? Cypher or Charlie? Theron.
The God's Eye.
Oh yeah,
No,
her people.
Oh, he from the chick from F9. You talking?
Yeah, and F8 and all that. Yeah. She basically got her whole crew taken over like this in a quick this, and at first I was like, okay, that's kind of menacing, but then he was just able to do it all the time, and I was just like, my guy, where'd you get all these resources from? Like, didn't we steal your money a second ago? You know what I mean? Like, how'd you get all this money to do this?
Yeah, that is true, because they did steal all his money. So where did the other money come from? And that makes you think: do all the bodyguards have families? Oh, except for that one guy that got killed.
Right.
Our family. That was messed up.
Yeah, he was like, I couldn't kidnap any of his people.
Yeah, I thought that shit was hilarious. I will say his like, I understand his motivation, but why did it take so long for him to even like? He was like, "Oh, I finally cracked the code. It's your family," and I was just like, "That's literally his MO. It took you that fucking long, Momoa. Like you couldn't just be like, hey, you know, he hangs out with these guys. He's always with them. Always have Coronas. Like, fucking destroy the Corona company, and that'll really hurt Dom 100%. Like, you could
want to make him suffer, take away his beer.
yeah, like you could have done that a long time.
Take away the movie's product placement.
No, that would be a side movie where Dom goes to AA.
Dom's next big villain. Okay,
Yeah.
it's anonymous.
Damn. You so what you seemed like you had a little tension over there from Momoa's character. Did you have anything to add for that?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I like this character. I really enjoyed how powerful he was, if I'm being for real. You know what I mean? Because I feel like we've tried to get powerful villains, but it doesn't work out. You know what I mean? Like what's his name from Furious 7? I forget his
Jason
name.
Statham?
No, not Statham. Well, Statham was cool, but he was like a badass cool. He wasn't like
Shaw, his brother.
no, the one that he kind of works with to get God's Eye when they're on that mountain.
The black dude?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I don't remember his name.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, him, like they tried to do it a bunch because they did it with him, and then they did it with that chick from F8. You know what I mean? And then, like, I feel like they tried it, and then they were just like, we cracked it. So they made him crazy and powerful, and Momoa just nailed the part. Like, I loved that so much about his character.
So you like that he was OP?
Yeah.
Like he was just basically this villain who could do
Like-
everything.
Like if he was the unstoppable force and Dom was the immovable object, that's what I was enjoying.
That's a point of view. That's a different. Yeah, you got anything for that?
I don't know. You haven't brought it up, but did you guys stay after the credits?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah?
that's gonna be a whole nother.
All right. That was totally cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Some
Some bitch. Yeah, that's gonna be a different thing. We'll touch on that in a little bit, but let's talk about plot motivation.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that the plot was there, the motivation was there? In my opinion, I feel like the movie could have ended a lot sooner if Momoa actually wanted to kill Dom. But I understand that he was toying with him, and that's why he lasted the whole movie basically. But I kind of feel like he could have had him a long time ago, and the movie didn't really need to happen. But his motivation was there to prevent that, and I gotta say I was good with that. I would say plot wise, it was very bleak. There wasn't really too much different or new for this movie. It was kind of like the same thing that happened the past couple movies, I think. So can't really give it points for plot wise, but shit was cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they brought someone from the past, it just seems like it's going to turn into a formula. Like, oh, let's keep on bringing people back. Bring them back. Like, oh, Dom accidentally hurt this other guy in this other movie, but you didn't see him because he wasn't part of the plot yet. But it just felt like that.
Yeah.
It took him a long time to take revenge. I mean, he did kill his dad, but I mean, I don't know. Would I do that exactly? Go to that far?
10 years, my guy.
10 years.
10
Yeah, I
years
did
of
too.
plotting.
What did you?
Well, I was just gonna say because it's funny you mentioned that because we were watching Fast 5 and the big ending scene where they're bringing the safe out and smacking it through buildings. We were like, damn, what if later down the line they're like, damn, it was because of you smacking my uncle in the face with the safe. I'm a villain now, Dom, or something like that. You know what I mean? Like that would be funny. But plot wise, it's a very basic plot. You know what I mean? I think that's what a lot of the Fast movies kind of rely on now. Just simple plots so they can fill it with action, and really cool supervillains and stuff.
Yeah.
So no real big complaints. It could have ended sooner. There was a lot of times where I was like, oh, they're gonna cut it here to save suspense. You know what I mean? But they were basically just like, nah, there's a bunch of things we got to do before we end it. So
Yeah.
they couldn't end it there. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That was my big thing. But I mean, plot wise, it was kind of simple. I don't really have any issues with it. I guess the only thing, if I had to like really just think about it, was really splitting the team up, which is, I'm sure, gonna be a big like Avengers team up thing in the next one.
Yeah.
But like the idea of these four, the four leaving and going somewhere else, and then well, we know Letty got caught, and so she's out the game. So now it's just Dom. I'm just like, there was no real suffering to be had because all the key ingredients weren't there. You know what I mean? They killed off unimportant people. So how is Dom really suffering? Who knows?
That's true. If they really wanted to make a statement, it would have been one of the main crew.
Yeah, it would have been like Letty.
Which was,
Again.
which, spoiler alert, which was Cena's death, right? That was supposed to be the big, oh, one of our people died, one of my family died, but
It doesn't work.
it never worked because at the end of Fast 9, they're together or whatever, but he was only with them for one movie. Most of the movie, he was an asshole. Now he's, now he's over here in this one trying to act like fun uncle, which weird that they played that kind of role instead of, I would have thought it would have been more serious. Like, come on, I'm trying to save your life type shit. But no, they really played fun with this kid being allowed to blow random dudes up with a fucking rocket launcher. Like, I was like, damn, bro. Like, no, you think Dom would have been okay with this? Like,
Man, I really did like his action scene though when he's saving little Brian. Like
in the house.
yeah, in the house. Like I feel like every time he hit somebody, I was just like, damn, that is fucking tough.
I would have felt that, but I feel like we saw most of that piece in trailers. Like when I was watching it and like when they were like trying to, build suspense, like, oh, who's that shadow figure or whatever. I was like, I've seen the setup. We already seen most of this fight in the trailer when they did that clip as well. They did a clip about it. And I was just sitting there like, okay, yeah, well, the action scene was just more like, oh, it's just another action scene,
Yeah, I guess that's fair. But I mean, I thought it was pretty fucking cool.
I think the only one that really does still hit is the one where like the camera goes through the floor because he smacks the dude through the floor or whatever. I was like, yeah, okay, that's still a cool scene. That was actually very smart of whoever choreographed that part. But other than that, everything else was
Stunt doubles are crazy.
I mean, that's why they get paid a lot.
Yeah.
Well, at least I hope they do.
Not too much, I don't think.
The insurance must be crazy.
Car insurance. But what'd you think?
I love that scene. Yeah. But that one first part where you just see the guy get thrown back, I was thinking like, oh, it better not be Brian hidden in the back or something.
Oh,
But
dude, that was like, I'll bring it up because I know it's like it's gonna be a topic later, but that's my big thing. Like, why is Mia still around? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like when Brian made the exit, she should have also stayed away. You know what I mean? I don't think there's any point for her to show up and then her allude to be like, oh, he's watching the kid. But I'm like, well, no, if you're part of the family, you'd be there too. You know what I mean?
That's the thing is that that's one thing for me that these movies are kind of undoing, are like they're undoing a lot of the sacrifices that Brian made. And it's kind of like, I knew this was going to happen if they continued because it's going to hurt that legacy. Because Brian in the other movies, like 4 through 6, honestly, like he was all about Mia. You know what I mean? So like if she went somewhere, he's going there. Like there was one point where he got pissed off because he wasn't there with her, because they kept her or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like he would have been the same exact way, especially knowing that people broke into the house and almost captured her or whatever.
Exactly.
Blah, blah, blah. And it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. That was my big thing too with these movies. But before we get into all that, we still have to, because you're talking about Fast X.
Yeah. But yeah, having her back for sure is a big sore thumb for me too, because I'm just like, they really can't have her without him, and the fact that they have her without him is kind of like, well, might as well just let them have both right off into the sunset. If you guys were going to continue making movies past Furious 7, you know what I mean? Just left them over there.
yeah, most definitely. If he was gone, she should have been gone too, because in all the other movies, like you said, he was like so intent into protecting her, and then out of nowhere, like, oh yeah, go fight bad guys by yourself. I'll stay here and watch the kid.
Yeah, I'll play stay at home dad while bullets are being thrown at you.
Bullets, punches, everything.
Yeah. It's crazy to me how everybody just went to like Muay Thai classes and
Well, yeah, that's another thing. Everybody just knows how to fight.
yeah, I wouldn't have thought Mia knew how to fight, but self-defense, slapping or whatever, screaming for help makes sense or something, but like she knew how to throw hands, and I was like, damn, dude, like where you been at, fucking Navy SEAL training.
Dom signed them all up for karate class.
All right, family, I need you all to protect yourself.
All family members need to be black belt in this house.
You guys all don't get superpowers. Only I get superpowers. You guys actually have to learn how to fight. This is fucking.
Yeah. So plot wise and everything, we can all agree. I guess this movie wasn't too fanatical.
Yeah.
And fantastic when it came to that. Cinematography though, like I said, Justin Lin was in this movie. He was in the director's seat for a while, and it was taken over by Luis Leterrier. So some scenes you could tell they were pre-filmed with Justin Lin because he did film a good 25%. So you can tell like some scenes where his signature way of like showing the sun and certain lightings throughout the movie. And then you have the rest of the movie where I don't feel like it. Not every scene played to its strengths, like how most of the movies did. When it came down to when there was action scenes in the back, or fire being thrown to the to our heroes or whatever. You know what I mean? Like I kind of felt like there was a little bit difference. I'm not saying it was a bad difference or like a terrible difference, but you could tell it took a dip from what you were expecting and what you kind of saw from Fast 9. Because if I could give credit to like Fast 9, I would say at least Justin Lin was still able to capture that, those elements outside and really play to those strengths.
Man, what do you think, Raymond?
Yeah, it's I love everything about it, to be honest. Like the action scenes, the signature touches to it. CGI wise, also, some of them you can tell right away.
CGI wise, yeah. I would say that because they're trying to go bigger, a lot of the CGI doesn't really work with cars and stuff like that. But I think it's weird because even that shot, the pinball scene and stuff like that, that he was referring to as, like, that was practical. The ball was practical, the lanes are basically practical, but some of it still looked really CGI, if that made sense. So I'm not sure, maybe the touch-ups didn't really click right. I see what you're saying though, but like some of the CGI has been kind of going downhill, but I'm assuming that's because more spectacle has been thrown into these movies.
For sure. Well, cinematography wise, I think it had a lot of good scenes. I think this one, like you said, you can tell the difference, but it wasn't anything bad. I feel like you just missed that flair, but that's about it. But like everything else kind of worked for me, like scene wise, because there was still dope action, there was still dope like scenery. Yeah. What threw me off a lot though was a lot of the lighting. I know that's like a very nitpicky thing, but I feel like some things were just either too bright or too dark, and they couldn't really pick a tone. And I know that's a thing throughout movies where like, oh, if your two characters are facing each other and you're saying it's midday, you're gonna have two different settings on these people because you need to get their faces.
Yeah.
But that was just a weird thing for me because they're in a car almost half the time. Your car doesn't need to be lit that way unless it's intentional and they can't show the driver isn't Dom, it's a professional driver. You know what I mean? And the windows are usually tinted and whatnot. Like the beginning. When little Brian we're supposed to be convinced that little Brian is the one drifting that fucking car and not some dude just whipping that shit behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Like you can see it there.
Yeah, you could see that they do more body shots of the car and more back shots to make sure that the windows are tinted. You don't see the kid and stuff like that.
Yeah, but that was my big thing. But a lot of it was fine. But I feel like the cinematography has dwindled down from where we once were.
Yeah, I think it really peaked. I don't really like the movie 100%, but with Fast 8, with Gary Gray, I feel like the way he shot cinematography was actually pretty great in that movie. Not gonna lie, but yeah, Justin Lin has a touch, and I just think Fast X missing him lost that touch.
Yeah.
Whatever happened behind the scenes, we don't know. Vin, you got somebody else to apologize to. Who knows? And I think it's only fitting for at least this movie that we add an extra slot, and that extra slot for me would have to be soundtrack wise. what did we think of the soundtrack? Fast movies have been known to put out some banger hits. They they get a lot of their own artists to they pay artists to put a song out there, collab and all that stuff. A lot of remixes. I mean, what did you guys think about the soundtrack? At least in this one.
They bring in the classic with Don Omar, Bandolero.
Oh, okay.
This comes back.
Yeah, it always has to come back. As soon as you see that Dodge Charger, that song plays.
Yeah, that's always a given. That's always a given. This one, I think, I guess soundtrack wise, it was kind of a weaker one.
Yeah,
I'd say. I don't think this one really played to its strengths like how recent movies did, with the music and stuff. And maybe it's because I don't know if it's like true or not, but like this is my own theory. I'm assuming because depending on like who they get within the movie, because they have certain they do hire certain actors depending on who's in there, and if it's a celebrity or something, they tend to put a little bit more of their music in there. And I think depending if you like the artist, then you'll probably like the soundtrack a little bit more. But this one was kind of meh for me.
Well, yeah, because I mean, for a good while, Ludacris was stamping some of his music on there too.
A good chart. I think the first like 4, 5, and 6. I think he stamped his music on that.
And like he had some songs, but it was it was mixed artists. You know what I mean? But with this one, it just felt weird. Like I told you, I think soundtrack peaked with either, if not 5, 8. But I think 9 and 10 are just missing that musical flair that's kind of necessary for these movies.
Yeah.
Because I mean, all the movies have great soundtracks, I think.
Yeah.
But for ones that stick out the most, has to be either 5 or 8. You know what I mean? It's crazy stuff.
I think Fury 7 has the best soundtrack. It has to.
No.
Yeah. Fury 7, bro. It has See You Again. That's undefeated. That's undefeated. They even brought it back for this movie. It's undefeated.
Oh yeah, they played for a bit. Yeah.
Which is, I mean, since you guys brought it up, I enjoy that they do that homage. You know what I mean? Every movie, but I feel like it waters it down a lot because it's continuing like with the recurring problem of Mia showing up and all that. You know what I mean? Like I understand you obviously can't have Brian, but if you really wanted him there and preserve that legacy, you'd either stop making movies or you'd stop having Mia around so you can still raise that question of where the fuck is Brian? Because they really did us dirty. Was it in F9 where we see the skyline show up?
Yeah, at the end.
See, they like do you kind of dirty there, and I'm just like, yeah, we understand it's to like make us sad, and we're like, oh shit, he's still around.
Yeah,
but it's not the same as not seeing Paul Walker. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because in Furious 7, they make it seem like they're not going to see him again. You know what I mean? And they make it seem like, Paul Walker is basically, or Brian at least, is just going to go with Mia and go hide out somewhere and just live their lives because, Dom's dangerous because everything is pretty much hot. And then, seeing them just be like, well, you guys are out of danger now, so let me just come over for the barbecue. It's kind of, you know what I mean? It's kind of, eh. And even then, like, they make it seem sad, but we seen in the last movie he comes over for barbecue. So why are you sad? You see Brian probably every weekend or every other Tuesday. Probably saw him at the kids' soccer game. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. It seems more like well, it's not a joke, but like an inside joke. Like, oh yeah, remember he's dead. But so just know we're not gonna show him.
Yeah.
Every time they bring it up, or like you said, the skyline shows up at the end, but it's not him. But it gives you, I guess, just a feeling of feeling sad. That way, people can. I guess it's just another attention grabber to give.
It's supposed to pull your heartstring. Like, oh yeah, they're still hanging out together in universe. You know what I mean? Like Brian's still around, but at the same time, then they do the little sad homages where it's like, oh, he's actually not around like that. You know what I mean? It's like, pick a lane, bro. Pick a lane. The soundtrack wise, I mean, I don't know if you listen to like the music or like the soundtrack of these movies, but they are very known and hot. And they are known to hold a lot of music artists within these tracks. So I don't know. At least I guess the best way I could say it, did this one make you tap your foot more in the theater or less?
No, not really. I barely even noticed. I just catch some of them references, Bandolero. and then See You Again, and that's about it. That it didn't really catch my attention.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So see, that's kind of a bad thing because there's a lot of, like I use Furious like 5 and 6 for like good reference. Like in the beginning, they have that whole like intro and, music, and even like the action scenes, like they always have like these dope ass music. Even Furious 7 starts off with like dope ass music. Like, so in my opinion, if you're not tapping your toes by the beginning, at least the first 10 minutes, it's usually a weak soundtrack for that movie, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, I mean, in the beginning of this one, it was Reyes monologuing. So
That one and that Angel song played a lot. The one that they were really promoting. I don't know if you remember, I was playing it one morning and you were like, oh, is this from Fast X? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. But I don't know. I feel like this one just had a weaker soundtrack. I'm not too sure why, but yeah, very weird for a fast movie too. Because even for scenes where like they decide to show how do I put this, the fan service, the fan service where it's like it's women and it's cars and the racing scene and it's still alive. Like usually music's bumping there, but I can't even tell you the name of the song that they played. It's just like that's pointless.
So soundtrack not so strong for this one.
Yeah, no, not really.
Well, I guess with the 55% Rotten Tomatoes score for this movie, I guess that's fitting. So I guess for the fast review, right? I guess this movie wasn't the strongest. I guess we can all conclude, right? It wasn't the strongest, but it wasn't the weakest.
Yeah,
no.
I think we can all agree. There was better ones out there, but this one seemed like a good setup for the second one,
for sure.
Yeah,
and maybe that's why people didn't really vibe with it, or maybe that's why they wanted, I guess, story wise to pique your interest, but they didn't really want to put too much production value because they're probably going to go big in part 2. What I'm assuming, if it's just a part 2.
Yeah.
Right. So like, I guess we can say that this one kind of just lived to set up the second one. Correct?
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
Interesting. So with that, I guess we can go ahead and, unless you guys have some little thoughts or tidbits for this movie before we move on.
Damn. I'm trying to think because I know we kind of went through the whole characters and everything like that, but honestly, before we like number it and whatnot, I just want to give more like talk to Jason Momoa and stuff. I don't know why, but he carried in this movie.
Yeah. No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't.
He carried him and what's his name? Alan
Rickman.
Rickman. They both carried.
Alan Rickman for sure. And they did. I will give this movie points for duping me because I told you in the theater, like I was like, oh, what the fuck? They already changed his mind already. He's already gonna be part of the family. And then at the end, they faked you out and they were like, nope, that was a lie or whatever. And I was like, cool, because I actually liked him as kind of like the villain chasing Dom, and it was gonna kind of disappoint me to see that he was, a part of that. Those people. But Jason Momoa himself, to be honest, I know a lot of people were comparing him to the Joker and, saying like, oh, Dom has met his match. But I'll be upfront. There was more compelling villain out there before him. And I stand firm to that. This one, it was kind of just like, oh, you killed my daddy, so I'm going to go after everything. 10 years later, by the way, I'm going to go after your whole whatever 10 years later. And yeah, I don't know. The whole playing with your food thing is, to me, it's cool, but it's kind of corny at the same time because it's like, if you were really mad at this food, you take the first shot that you can every single time. And I feel like that would add more tension. You know what I mean? Then, because every single time he was on scene, I was like, none of these people are going to die. He's going to play with him. He's going to continue to play with him. And he just kept doing that till the very end where he was like, okay, now I'm going to finally blow it up. And then by then I'm kind of like, well, nothing's going to happen. He's probably not even going to, or if he is going to blow it up, he's probably going to get away somehow. You know what I mean?
Nah, man. I think he carried. Performance-wise and everything.
What do you think, Ray? Like, performance-wise, what do you think?
Well, he definitely stood out. What I said before, he is definitely OP. There's a part where they show his criminal file. He's psychotic. He's in and out of like mental institutions and stuff like that. So that adds more to why he wants to, I guess, the reason why he wants to make Dom suffer. Not really to get revenge, but just because he's crazy like that, I guess. Just to have a reason like, oh, he's doing this. Yeah. Man. It's a game to him.
So is it because of revenge or is it not because of revenge?
Well, it's both. His father told him in the beginning, they set it up and he's just like, well, you got to make him suffer first before killing him, because we hear it a lot in all types of media like this, but killing them makes it easy. You know what I mean? It gives them an easy way out. But I know they'll never kill his kid, but if they really wanted to do something like that, they would have, killed somebody, and that's what that whole ending piece was.
Fast and the Furious, don't be a pussy. You can do it. Kill the kid. No.
Fuck them kids.
It'll lead Dom free for more adventures if that helps with anything.
Oh yeah, he doesn't have to babysit anymore.
You don't have to contemplate, should I stay home? No, my family needs me. Yeah, Jason Momoa's character was kind of but I mean, I could see why people compared him and seeing how crazy he was, because that one scene where he was talking to those dead people or whatever, I was like, okay, I can see why the Joker comparison was being thrown around. And I mean, that's cool. Yeah, he's crazy, but like I said, you have all this money. You could have hit your mark a long time ago. I would have felt like more tension would have been made if he was trying to kill him at every single turn. You know what I mean? Out for blood, thirsty. You know what I mean? Not just, oh yeah, I want to fucking kill you for killing my dad, but at the same time, I'm gonna play with my food first. Like, dude, if you're gonna kill off his team, at least show that force. Kill off a couple people from his team or whatever. If some of them happen to survive in part 2, whatever, go ahead. That's fine. But like, at least make it known, like, hey, we're killing some major players here, and Dom, you are gonna get hurt. You know what I mean? I felt like there was better like motivation in previous movies than this one for the villain. So
yeah, but that's a plot to a lot of movies, though, yeah, right? Where the villain just messes with the main character. and I'm a sucker for it.
That's why a lot of media. This isn't the first movie to like do anything like that. It's a lot of media where it's like, I'm gonna see how far I can push you before I fucking get you. You know what I mean? But speaking of, since we're kind of wrapping it up, and these are my final thoughts. Dominic gives no reaction to any of these deaths, by the way. You know what I mean?
No, he saw his whole crew burn up in a plane, and he was just like,
he makes a face just like with his lips, which is pretty funny. I want to laugh every single time.
Stern lip.
Every single time.
Grunts a little bit.
Like, because even when dude dies,
When his brother,
his brother is a big.
when Cena dies, he's just like,
Yeah, he makes that face.
he just looks at his car and on flames and everything.
Yeah,
He's
It's like, oh well.
It really, I don't know what it is, but that his death was something I found really hilarious, because I was joking with the homie when we seen it, but he was just like, damn, I can't believe I lost Dom's son. And then he decided to end it all after that. It really escalated after the fact. It really made me laugh. I was like, damn, this. And then this, like, I don't know why they slow-moed it, but it felt like he was in the air for quite a bit before crashing down and everything exploded. I feel like he could have made it. I don't know.
It was to make you shed a tear.
Yeah.
I mean, he did have what was it, like a rocket launcher on the car? I thought he was just gonna point the car that direction and shoot it at them to clear the way.
Would have been nice.
Yeah, no, he would have been alive.
I mean, the kid unjammed the missiles, right?
yeah,
Yeah, he unjammed it, and that's why he was able to shoot so forward.
So you were able to shoot the shit in the ground, but you just couldn't shoot him over some dividers? Okay, yeah, no.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And the Jason Momoa snuck up in the car and just grabbed the kid and went off.
It was just like, see you later. Like, he grabs him. But yes,
It's funny.
I just thought that shit just had to be brought up.
And obviously, right, before we get into, rating and everything, we got to talk about the reveals at the end, right? So we got one, like I said, spoiler, but we got one reveal. Gal Gadot is back. Off top, how do we feel about that?
You go first.
It's that whole thing. They don't need a time machine. They just need to come up with people that possibly died before and bring them back. That's what it feels like.
It is, and I was just like, okay, because bringing back Han, they made it make sense with Mr. Nobody, and they said, Gal Gadot's character was connected to Mr. Nobody, whatever.
Yeah.
So did he just come up and like catch her with a fucking inflatable jumper or something? It was just like, oh, got you. All right, let's go. Let's hide you. You're dead now. Like, did nobody go back to see her body and be like, confirmed. Like nobody confirmed that the body.
Nah, man, they were too busy blowing up cool shit. Taking down the
No,
plane.
that runway was way too long to go back for.
Exactly.
You're like, oh, you're for the birds now.
Yeah, no. That, I mean, I liked it, but that's because, I'm biased.
Yeah. I think what were you saying before? That you want the relationship to.
Yeah. That's one of my things for, like, I know we'll talk about it for future things to happen in part 2, but I'm excited to see Han and her relationship just, like, rekindle. See what they think coming down the line.
So you don't think that this has a negative, like, impact to the franchise?
Well, it does. Obviously, they cheated Han of a very key point to why he went to Tokyo in the first place, because that was a big plan, and he did it for her since they were talking about it in previous movies about it. But I mean, if I had to think of it positively, that's one thing I want to see.
I get you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree?
Yeah. I want to see their love flourish.
Their love flourish.
Love wins everything.
I'm gonna be like, you better yell at her, bro. You better yell at her, because what the fuck? You just died and didn't say shit. Like,
She's gonna be like, bro, you missed it. I blew up, died, came back, hid in Tokyo for a few years, and now I'm running back with Dao. Where you been?
Here's my thing, and this is where like the plot hole gets created, because Mr. Nobody knew both of them. So when Han took his own life, why didn't they just reconnect there? Why didn't Mr. Nobody be like, oh, and by the way, your ex-girlfriend or girlfriend, whoever, if you guys are still a thing, whatever, she's still alive, like, you can make a meetup.
It's weird because they have to explain this thing in part 2. It was a very subtle line, but now that I think about it, when they were like, I think it was Alan Rickman's character where he was like, they stole a submarine or whatever. She was in that sub. So now they kind of have to explain in part 2 that where'd they get the sub and where has she been? You know what I mean? So maybe Mr. Nobody pulled strings and she just hid her away or whatever. Who knows?
Well, the submarine from Fast 8, right?
Well, yeah. Yes and no?
That's
Because is that the one they stole?
yeah.
I thought that was just the one they like stopped the rockets with.
No, they stole it to try to stop them, obviously, because what's her face was controlling it, and they wound up stopping it, but it never blew up. So by the end of that movie, I was assuming that's the same submarine that they stole from Mr. Nobody, because of the whole Russian nuclear response and whatever. And so,
Very convoluted plots. Now that we're kind of talking about it,
yeah, I'm not sure if like that's if that's how they're gonna play it off or whatever, but that's where I mean, like, plot hole says, hey, why didn't Mr. Nobody hook these two back up when they were supposed to be dead?
He doesn't care about them.
Yeah.
I have a feeling they're gonna joke about it. They're like, oh, you pretending to die too? I'm like, yeah, me too.
Well, I would say that I'm happy that they, at least in F9, like, completely went into detail, like, what happened and the reason why, and it made sense. Though I still feel like they cheated it. Regardless, it made sense why Han was back. So if they do the same thing with Gal and make it compelling, I guess I can take it. But it's really cheapening the deaths. And like I said, I mean, John Cena died in this one in Fast X. Will we see him in part 2? Will it be like,
He'll be like, I was wearing a flak jacket the whole time.
he's gonna be like, on your left, jump out with his car, and then we'll go ahead and talk about the some bitch. So after rally cries from Vin Diesel, asking him to come back, from The Rock going on CNN and basically saying that he'd never come back to the Fast franchise ever again. Good luck with your endeavors and whatnot. To tucking his tail in and coming in for a little cameo after they completely cut his scenes in the beginning of the movie, because Fast 5, there was a lot of clips where they show Hobbs breaking into the safe and everything, and they just kind of stuck to gloves and trucks in the beginning of this one. And I guess towards the end, The Rock came around and they decided to do a little cameo, and they said he was the one who pulled the trigger, so Jason Momoa is after him as well, and I'm assuming this is going to go to theories on part 2. But what do you guys think about the reveal? Are you guys happy that Hobbs is back, or that they put aside their real beef in real life to do this, or what you think?
Yeah, all the better, I say. Yeah, I'm glad he comes back. I just didn't like that at the beginning. They're hiding his face. He's wearing a mask, and he looks like a skinny dude. And then I feel like they record that later on. I guess after he finally said like, "Screw it, I'll be back."
Yeah.
And I feel like they cut that part in, because then he takes it off, and then he's a big old buff guy now.
Yeah,
I don't know
that
if
was
you know
my
that.
thing.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, no,
That was
he looks. Well, yeah, because that was my big thing too. Because
I thought
I
that
don't
was
know.
just supposed to be like a fake out type thing. Like he was just wearing a lot of padding.
no, dude, no, he is not. He was
I
wearing.
gotta rewatch it.
He was basically wearing what he always wears. It was like a skin tight, like long sleeve, and then just his body armor.
Yeah.
But he looks smaller.
Yeah.
The dude looks smaller
Yeah.
before he picks up the phone. You actually see like his arms, and then the big reveal. He takes it off, and it's all bitch. You know, like it looked like a completely different person before that.
Oh, so maybe they did record something, and it was supposed to be somebody else, and they were just like, "Hey, we'll stick you in here." Real quick."
Basically,
Damn.
because I think I told you too. Like I'm sure like the reshooting happened because even in the beginning they cut out a lot of the Rock scenes. You know, whether it was so, people don't notice the continuity error where he's supposed to be there in that hallway when Momoa comes out, but were they willing to cut him out? Be like, oh, yeah, Hobbs was kind of just gone, and by then, and then that's when Momoa comes out, or was the beef? He didn't sign on, so they were like, we'll go without him, cut him out entirely. And then they gave him the call, and he was like, sure, I'll come. And then they reshot.
So you're kind of fueling my theory, because I didn't notice that. I gotta rewatch it. But there was rumors going around saying that they might have CGI'd Paul Walker's face at the end of this movie. So you saying that it looked like a scrawny white guy?
Yeah, honestly, I thought it was gonna be Brian.
He looked, yeah.
Because it's like I thought they were gonna come up with the whole story that he was actually doing missions over somewhere else. That's why maybe he's not coming back
Like
to the
a
movie.
special ops.
Yeah,
Yeah, because there was rumors saying that Brian might have made an appearance as CGI in a cameo towards the end of the movie, and I gotta rewatch it to see. So maybe they did that, and they were gonna make Brian, oh yeah, you're the one who helped Vin or whatever, or Dom, and then we gotta go after him too, and then eventually make the movie about him going. Maybe that's why he wanted Vin Diesel to come back so hard, so he didn't have to do that storyline. And then, eventually it wound up working out where he actually agreed and they replaced him. That's crazy though. I gotta rewatch it now. I didn't know that it looked.
yeah, because
dude.
he was wearing like the same tactical gear as in I think it was the first movie when they raid one of the houses, and Brian's wearing the full gear. He looks exactly like that at the end of the movie during that post credit scene.
Oh.
Yeah,
Are
so
we cracking something?
he looks like that, and then he's carrying like the signature deagle, probably hinting that it's The Rock. And it's like this big reveal. Would it be Brian, like we're saying, or would it be The Rock? Who could it be? An unknown player we don't know about again? But then he's carrying the deagle, and we find out it's The Rock. But yeah, no, that was my big thing too, because like I told you, I've seen it twice, and I've made the homie stay back so we can watch it. It looks like someone else before it gets to The Rock.
Damn, I gotta rewatch it. That's fucking crazy. Damn. Good eye, guys. That's crazy. I gotta watch it again. But so, I guess before we give our ratings, I guess we can start theorizing where we want this to go, right? Who we might see. You said that you wanted to see Gal Gadot's and Han's relationship flourish. Is there anything that you would want to see in part 2? Any of these storylines that you feel like couldn't continue and might go somewhat your way?
They have to show Brian. If Jason Momoa's character is going after everyone, they have to show Brian. I don't know how they're gonna play that out though, but one of them was Han reconnecting with Gal Gadot's character. But yeah, that's the main one. Is they have to. I just wonder how. Maybe AI,
CGI his brother,
CGI his brother, AI voice, all that.
And you made a point saying that AI is a thing too, so they could AI his voice. So I mean that's something too. But will they have the balls to do this in part 2 though? That's the big question.
Yeah, sure.
They went to space. I don't know.
Like
Equivalent there.
it would take Vin Diesel,
A lot of restrict.
like it would take a lot on his part to be like, damn, like, you know what I mean? Because I think for him it's more of like a morality thing. Like, do we really bring him back from the dead for this? Which I'm sure they were willing to if that cutscene thing is true, or will it cheapen his death or whatnot. That's a big thing. I would want to see that too. Like I think it's a big point to be like show us that he also went after Brian and his kid, and Mia, because she said she was going that way anyway. Like I'm sure they would have all ran into resistance, because if he knew everything, like he says he did, it wouldn't just be the key players. It'd be Brian and Mia also and their kid.
That's true.
So I'd want to see that. And then, like I said, I want to see Gal and I keep calling him Han, their relationship. I want to see that continue. I want to know where Mr. Nobody is. And then I want to know, I want to see how they get out that damn situation.
Yeah. Literally that damn situation.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, I need to see, one thing is for sure, I got to see how they brought back Gal, right? And why they basically kept them apart. That's one thing for sure. I know CGI Brian is probably inevitable. Me personally, I think it'd be a disservice to the movie if they do that. I know like some people are probably excited and they would be hyped to see, Paul Walker come back, but I honestly don't think that would be the right move to do. And I think it will stain the movie a lot. I feel like especially if they don't get it right, if like the CGI is wonky, it's going to make it even worse. And people are going to look at it like this wasn't necessary or we shouldn't have done this at all.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they would have to get it right. I know we were talking about that a little bit while ago. They do got to get it right. They can't cheapen They can't cheapen it one bit. It has to be a real like hard hitting moment. You know what I mean? But that would be one of my big concerns, because we'll talk about it later and I'll touch upon it. But like I think a lot of these movies past 7 are missing that heart. You know what I mean? But yeah, they couldn't cheapen that. They got to get it right if that's the case.
Yeah. Do you think that they're going to play big with Cop's sister? Because that's one thing I can go without. I really felt like this movie didn't need her in this movie, Fast X.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, she wasn't necessary. I hope she's a one and done. I could, because
she was fine though, but I was just like, I don't think.
Yeah, I think it's more like a wrap up, because how they were bringing up everyone.
Well, I just felt like she was just an easy plot pushing device, because he saved her, and then all of a sudden she had the files that Vin needed, and he was able to do whatever he needed to do. And I was like, y'all really brought up a sister that she'd never talked about in any of the movies. Same thing with what they did with Cena and Fast 9. Is like, it seems like a what's it called, the easy way to write,
Yeah,
cheap writing for sure. But I mean, hopefully, I think that's one thing that I would want to see is her come back for sure. I mean, I wouldn't be mad if she showed up, but at the same time, I wouldn't want to waste time and screen time on her, if that makes sense. Like I would rather see the core people. I would want to see Ever Mendes come back. I know I've been
still pushing that one.
Yeah, I'm still pushing that. I want to see Ever Mendes come back. I know she went on a hiatus from acting or whatever, but ever since we got that stupid scene in Fast 5, we haven't seen her again. And I if they're bringing the whole crew back, I think she is a crucial part, and she should be like, well, where's Brian?
Damn,
he's safe somewhere in a cave.
Like, hey, looking like his brother Cole. Yeah. I mean, anybody else from the franchise you guys would want to see make a return?
Well, no, not really. I mean, we saw everyone from Tokyo Drift and F9, but I mean, they kind of aged poorly. Like, I know it's kind of fucked up to say, but they did. And they came a long way from
the fight kid.
Tokyo. Like, where did they somewhere they decided, damn, this life ain't for me. Let's get engineering. Like,
he said, I'm already DK. Might as well just make rockets at this point.
Yeah, it's weird. Because when the rocket scientist out of nowhere.
I know.
Homie was a degenerate, racing with his American muscle. Like,
I mean, is he still with that one girl with the strong jawline, or what?
Exactly. Where's she at? They broke up.
He's not keeping her. She's not keeping him in check. Like, maybe you shouldn't go make rockets right now.
No. But yeah, no. I don't think there's anyone else I'd rather come back to see.
No,
not
really. What about you? Any returning characters that you might want to see come back?
Nah, Jason Statham is there.
Oh yeah,
I like him.
The Shaw brothers.
Yeah,
that would probably be it.
Oh yeah, his brother. Yeah. As well. Yeah,
because they worked together in 9, 8, whichever one that was.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I'd want to see that. And well, I guess I'll move past it. But like, I really like seeing Han and him, like, not be friends. I don't know. I told you that would have been. that would have cheapened it for real for me. But I'm glad they're still like enemies, you know?
Yeah, that should. Are they still enemies?
Well, yeah, they only worked together because they had a common enemy, but they're still like not.
Well, as soon as they saw each other, they started fighting.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, so
so they would still
But
be.
not because of Han, because of Statham. He didn't really want to fight him. Han didn't want to fight him. Statham was fighting him.
Well, yeah.
oh yeah.
I don't know.
Well, Han was there asking for help, pretty much.
Yeah, I don't remember a resolution between that.
Exactly. So I'd imagine they're still like obviously on shaky water. It's not all buddy like it was at the end of F8. But I mean, like that. I'm telling you, like if he would have been fully on their side, it would have been a real problem for me because I'm like he basically fucking killed them. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
forced them into hiding and whatnot. But I
Technically, that was all part of the plan, according to Han.
according to Han. But yeah, no, I'd want to see more of where they are, the Shaw brothers.
I would want to see Braga come back. I know that's probably like such a left field type shit, but like
Yeah, that's so random.
he seemed like he had ties to like everybody. Like he knew about Charlie Theron's like character. He knew about the Owen brothers. I mean the Shaw brothers or whatever. Like he seemed really tied up. So why wouldn't have he been tied up with
Reyes.
Reyes and them too, and Jason Momoa and all them.
Someone I hope the rumors are true, and I want to see RDJ.
RDJ huh? As Iron Man.
No one.
And together with
like I guess
with
it because like I told you that I guess he was theorizing that they want to get some real genius tech monger, some dude like that, and they were throwing around RDJ. He'd basically be Tony Stark because
Evil Tony Stark.
He-
Working with Momoa.
yeah, like that'd be
That'd be
Really
two winning
nice.
villains though, because we already established that it's Momoa and Rickman at the end of the movie. So throwing a third player there, that'd be too much overstuffed. That's we're gonna have a Spider-Man 3 epidemic.
who knows? I mean, he said he's willing to 2 to 3 parts, so who knows?
that's crazy.
Yeah, he actually did say 3 parts. Hopefully not. Hopefully we're good with 2 parts, and I mean, I don't know. Are we looking forward for a third part? Do we want to finale?
Depending on if how the second one ends, honestly.
Well, obviously, if they're gonna make a third one, they're gonna leave it on a cliffhanger. But let's say, for conversation's sake, the way that this movie ended, can you see it dragging on to a third movie?
No. I hope everything ties up neatly in the second one.
Yeah, it has to with the amount of damage that's being done. Everybody pretty much dying at this one. If another bad guy comes out, they're just pulling bad guys out of their ass pretty much by this point.
Yeah. Basically.
Yeah,
Yeah, because that would mean that Momoa would have to get away again in order for him to be in the third part.
Yeah.
And can we really work with oh no, we missed him again. Oh, yeah, and there he goes. I'll see you again, Batman. I mean, Dom, whatever. I don't know. I'm not sure. 3 parts would be ideal.
I don't know.
I'm good with 2. I mean, I understand money talks, but can we afford another one? I think Dom is getting played out at this point, and I think we'll touch up on it, kind of what you were saying, but like losing heart for the movies and stuff is something that I feel like this one is suffering from as well. But I guess that's it for at least the review section, right? We talked about it, we theorized it. Josh, 1 to 10, where would you put this movie?
Everything included, static plot. Everyone else was basically the same. My pros and cons of it all, even with Momoa and Rickman carrying it like I think they do, it doesn't work as a solo movie. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense. Like it's basically it's like reading the first chapter of a book that's not finished. You know what I mean? You're waiting for the second piece. It's until I see that second one, I feel like it'll always be lower. You know what I mean? Especially if somewhere down the line they're like, oh, we can't do it because the movie didn't make any money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're just like, that's it. And then
that'd be the biggest cliffhanger in cinematic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I give it like I'm teetering toward 8. Give it like an 8.
An 8. Wow.
Yeah.
High up there.
Mhm.
Damn it. What about you, Raymond? What do you think from 1 to 10? This movie, where do you put it at?
Say 7. 7 because I
Stuck between.
yeah 7. Well, more me because I'm more into cars and I I don't know where Dom is pulling Dodge Chargers out of, but yeah, the characters, the way it's built up, yeah, a good 7, except for those scenes where I know there's certain mechanical problems with physical stuff, mechanical stuff that the car just cannot do, but it does. One thing we didn't mention is him taking down 2 helicopters with, with a Dodge Charger with nitrous on it. It is has to be a 7.
Not only did he knock them both out, but he was able to swing it and knock off Jason Momoa off the whole bridge with one as well. He comes back, you hit me with a helicopter.
So like to simplify your words a bit.
Yeah.
With all the with all the things you know aren't possible in this movie, it was still enjoyable to where you can give it a 7. That's what
entertainment wise. Yeah, I guess it was still entertaining.
Yeah.
So I thought Marlon hard about this movie, right? And damn, you guys, I'm gonna sound like a mad hater, but I'm giving it a 6, bro. I did it for me. This movie didn't do what I would have thought a finale would do, right? And that would make stakes for the ending, right? Even though I liked where the cliffhanger, had let off, I still don't fear for these guys' lives.
Yeah.
Like you said, are they going to kill Dom's kid? Probably not. You know what I mean? If it was just Dom right there or whatever, I could have probably felt a little bit more like, oh, yeah, they might do him in. You know what I mean? Maybe. It takes some big balls to try to do part 2 without Dom, but hey, crazier shit has happened. Tokyo Drift. But that being the cliffhanger, I already know for a fact he's going to obviously be around for a part 2. The plot wise and everything, I nothing really gave. And we're gonna dive into this a little bit deeper, but this movie there wasn't a reason for this movie to exist. If that makes sense. It seemed like they pulled it out their ass and they were like, this is how we're gonna make this movie a finale or whatever, right? It didn't seem pre-planned like how early installments were, 4 directly led to 5 led to 6 led to 7 even led to 8, I think. And then 9 just came out of left field, and then X came this here as well. And I felt like these movies aren't justified. And they try to justify it by reaching back to, the one that everybody universally loves, which is Fast 5, right? And try to make a connection to there. But you've seen how they try to make a connection to Tokyo Drift before and try to make it into a big thing, make it a big emotional thing, and then they completely just threw it out the window.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel like these movies are going. And they're only doing that because they're running out of ideas. I'm sure a lot of their ideas when they were first writing these down, because he did say that Paul and him wanted 10 movies. I'm assuming that they involved Paul. And I think with these movies, after the watered down one that was 8, I think 9 and 10 were just unnecessary. And I think this one just shows that this one was very unnecessary. Will it pay off in the second one? And you're right, maybe the second one could give it a reason to live. But as of right now, where I'm sitting, it has to sit at a 6.
Yeah, that's why as a standalone, it doesn't work. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know if you've ever watched the a little side tangent, but if you ever watched the animated Batman movie where it's broken into 2 parts, like you need the conclusion to give it the full length. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't just work on its own.
Well, there's some movies that do that though. Like I could say like Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. That one works as a solo movie. Yeah, we know that there's a part 2, but in my opinion, I feel like they wrapped it up as well as they could. If they didn't get a part 2, it still is a satisfying ending where the villain is the conqueror or whatever. You know what I mean? But this one, this one is you need it. You need that system.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of movies, when you have to crutch up on a second one, it really doesn't work 100% of the time. I think Twilight did it too, and I think Twilight left it off with a cliffhanger, like you need to know what happens in the other one. But at the same time, if it was left there, it could have been a happy ending, like, oh, the baby was born and Bella lived. You know what I mean? And from there on, you can guess whatever happens after that. But yeah, I think if you need the second part to survive, my guy, you're starving the first one. You know what I mean? And yeah, maybe when finally it comes out, then we'll have a different perspective. But I don't know.
But yeah, I guess that's fair.
You guys agree with me?
Yeah.
No contingencies with what I said or whatever.
No.
Perfect. Good. Because my review is golden and it's law. There you go.
No.
That's right. It is law. All right, guys. So because of our guests this episode extended longer than we anticipated, and we decided to break it up into 2 parts. This is going to be the end of part 1. The next episode should be coming out Sunday, tomorrow. Make sure that you guys have the notifications on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, so you guys don't miss when the new episode drops tomorrow. And we hope you guys enjoyed this one, and we'll go ahead and talk to you guys on the next one.
If this is the finish line, I'm not afraid.